Hey guys, what is going on? It is Ando, and today we've got a Razor Crest video. I did some testing because I really wanted to beat some negotiators, and I have some really positive results actually. So in this video, we'll do a breakdown of like what to do with the negotiator, what to look for, and then we'll kind of talk about the overview of the team itself, kind of my first impressions of it, and kind of where I think this could eventually end up becoming. And yeah, we'll go through all that stuff, guys. So we'll go right into the video now. And before we get into the video, I want to just give a special shout out to the Andos Commandos. Thank you guys for supporting me on Patreon and on Twitch. You guys are amazing. I could not do some of this testing without you guys today. Some of these crystals and stuff like that. The crystal refreshes were done because you guys have been so awesome. So thank you guys so much. If you guys have any interest in supporting us here on Twitch or Patreon, the links will be down in the description below. Okay, guys, so this is the team that I actually had the best success with, and I'm gonna just go ahead and give you guys my objective. So I just want to make this clear because I want to say a few things before we kind of get into this actual video. So my objective here was actually to create a fleet in which you would be okay with giving up the pieces, right? Most of these are probably unused and or like the fourth reinforcement on some of these ships or these fleets, with the exception probably being Houndstooth and maybe like Xanadu Blood. But for most people, these ships are just kind of not used. So, we're gonna take those ships, and I'm kind of trying to create a fleet of its own. So that was kind of the premise. Thrawn was used here because I think most people are with Empire using Tarkin, and I think it's actually a better fleet once Tarkin is in there. So I felt like Thrawn was kind of a replaceable piece that I could pull away. And the rest of these, again, with maybe the exception of Houndstooth and Xanadu Blood, were also, expendable. Just want to give you guys quick kind of snapshots of my gear levels here, so that way it's explained. I have a R5 double Zeta, no 6E mods on my Bando. I have a Gear 12, no additional pieces on my IG88, all 5 mods. On my Bosk, I have a 6E, all 6E mods, Relic 5 on him. Cad Bane is Gear 11, 5 mods, obviously. Boba Fett is Gear 12. I don't think any additional pieces with 5 mods. And I didn't really use the other two. So that just kind of goes to show you like those other two pieces aren't really needed. There were a few times that I did use them, but not really. And I just want to kind of go over the Razor Crest really quick after we kind of went over this team. I will say this ship is really, really good. I've had a lot of people ask me, hey, is the Razor Crest worth it? Absolutely. He's definitely worth it, guys. Like, he's a very good ship. If you were to replace any ship on here, or if you were to replace Razor Crest with another ship that was really good as well, I guarantee it wouldn't last half as long, and it probably wouldn't be half as effective. So he's definitely worth his weight in this team. Like, he's a very good ship. It's just more or less, and we'll get into this when I talk about the limitations of the team. But it's more or less like where my current gear levels are with the rest of the scoundrels that are probably setting me back a little bit. So that's just kind of my quick snapshot of like the Razor Crest. Very good ship. So we'll just get right into the gameplay next, guys. Okay, let's get right into this gameplay, guys. So I did this live on Twitch. Some of these were live on Twitch. Some of these I think were off stream before I went on stream because I just wanted to check it. So I just want to pause for right there. So this is definitely the lineup that you want to look for right now with my current lineup. And again, understand, back to the objective. Like, there are different things that people are doing. Negotiator with, Bando, Malevolence with Bando. But this was specifically trying to create, its own fleet to counter Negotiator. So something that people kind of forget about, I think, is when Fives attack someone, he gives them 20% turn meter. So when that happens, and he's kind of always the first to go, he's actually boosting whoever he attacks. And for whatever reason, I don't know if it's weakest or threat analysis or what, but Fives always, 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 always attacked my IG 2000. And that created him to be really fast and go first. So basically, we outsped any R8 negotiator, any R8, Jedi Knight Anakin, and because of that outspeeding of those characters or those ships, we're able to kind of do this. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna select Jedi Knight Anakin and stun him. That's gonna put breach on him, which can't be resisted because of Bando's unique. And that's very, very important now because he has breach. Basically, the next thing that we're really looking for is a basic from the Razor Crest that is going to put a mark on Jedi Knight Anakin, and from there, doesn't matter how many tanks come out, doesn't matter that Razor Crest is taunting right now. Uh, Everyone will be able to hit him. It was only Razor Crest before, but now everyone can hit him. At this point, I'm just kind of deciding what to do. It doesn't really matter. I've done the AoE before. You'll see in some of the footage beyond this, but in that one, I just decided to select IG 2000. I will say this, IG 2000 seems like the actual MVP as far as damage dealers go on this team, even at gear 12. You see that? He's just absolutely laying into people, which is awesome to see. And one of the strategies here too is that you guys want to get breaches as soon as possible, as many times as possible, because you'll get this breach contract basically. And this breach contract is going to basically increase the offense and speed of all your bounty hunters that are active out there. And so just kind of, again, selecting, it's a pretty close tie, I'd say, between the R5 or the 5-star Razor Crest and this Gear 12 2000, except for he attacks twice. And also this move here does way more damage when there's a breached enemy, like you're doing to a breached enemy. So just something to keep in mind, guys, like just throwing out the little bit of things that I've learned just from reading some kits. But yeah, you see there, we just got our contract. So some offense and some speed. And you could see things are actually going pretty well. Now, with this team, what I've noticed is that Bosk is kind of a pain. Kind of like every other team, to be quite honest. There doesn't seem to be enough damage, though, to get through Bosk. We can kind of get him down and whittle him down to a certain area. So really, after Jedi Knight Anakin is gone, it's kind of delay tactics. You can kind of take some damage on Ahsoka there. Just be careful not to give her a debuff because she will then cleanse it and get retributions from it and spread that over to other people. And then you'll be getting hit, the entire time. So again, we're just kind of delaying here. If you need to re-heal up, you got it there. If you need to, call to assist, you've got it here. That's why I really like Thrawn. And again, we're just kind of waiting for this moment to annihilate. I told chat at this point that I was going to bring out Boba so he dies. I actually think, funny enough, that he doesn't die in this for some weird reason. And but overall, like it like I said, this is we're basically just wasting time, waiting for an annihilate. And so yeah, you can see like the team is actually holding up pretty well. Sometimes it doesn't hold up as well, sometimes it does. It just kind of depends. You can see I'm trying to decide, and I would say always go for Houndstooth, guys, because again, we can kill. You'll see how easily we start killing Ahsoka, but getting through Bosk seems to be an issue for this team. Just although they deal damage, it seems like it's just not enough. Just barely not enough. But yeah, you can see here, everything seems to be going all right. Would like to see if they're like in the future iterations of this team, hopefully there's some sort of better protection recovery. You can get quite a bit through Thrawn. But yeah, it just feels like maybe a little bit more. The rest of the stuff you'll see, guys, I think there's one with Mace Windu that I used. But it's mostly the same. Like you'll see different iterations of, sometimes I land a crit and sometimes I'm able to kill Jedi Knight Anakin right off the bat. Sometimes I'm not. But the rest of this video, what I really want to do is talk kind of like limitations. So one of the things that I'd say is a limitation for me right now is the gear levels. And I think that's both a good thing and a bad thing. I'm facing mostly relic characters, pilots, in these negotiator fleets, and I'm beating them with gear 11 Cad Bane, gear 12 IG 2000. So all that stuff seems to be pretty good as far as like a trade-off goes. However, I will say this is a very narrow window. I think you really have to have fives in here. And what I'm kind of calling the fives conundrum. Like, not too many people are keeping fives on the starting lineup anymore. Most people are, putting Ahsoka in there, or they're doing the Y wing and the Rex with Jedi Knight Anakin, and that all makes sense because it kind of counters malevolence. Um, and the big thing here is, like you see there, fives kind of aids this team to actually being able to dominate. I can tell you, when you can't go second in order of movement, and General Kenobi is the first one to move. He will AoE and he will kill your IG-2000 that is gear 12. So just throwing that out there, guys. Like, the gear, the Relic 8, Kenobis, I stood no chance when there wasn't a fives there to kind of boost up my speed. The ones that were Relic 7, and they also had a Anakin that was Relic 7. It came down to a coin flip. Basically, if Anakin went first, I had a really good shot at winning. If Kenobi went first, we probably lost, because again, we lost IG-2000 before we could even move with them. So again, maybe that's a limitation on my side with the gear level, but realistically, I think we can in the future. I do believe that, like, with more relic level and survivability, like, that IG-2000 could make it through that opening AoE blast. And the other thing that I kind of want to talk about too, whenever it comes to speeds, is that yes, I do think, if I read .gg right, I think this is kind of laughable, but a R8 IG-88 will be the same speed as an R8 Kenobi, which means, and an R8 Jedi Knight Anakin. But that means that basically we will coin flip from that point. To me, that is still absolutely not a good reason. I don't play for coin flips. I would play for, like, the actual wins. However, just due to ships and where they currently are and their state in the game, currently we have to kind of accept a lot of coin flips nowadays. So that kind of, like, leads me into kind of what the future is for this. So again, R8 Kenobi, kind of a showstopper unless there's fives in the starting lineup. And so that kind of speaks to, if you're trying to make a Razor Crest proof Negotiator, probably don't put fives in the starting lineup. But the other thing that I want to talk about is, like, the state of ships right now. I hope that they're planning on something, and I hope they're planning on something soon, because the last thing I think a lot of people really want is another fleet like this, where you're given, a partial fleet. And I'm really looking at Radis. I'm looking at First Order. There's a lot of fleets out there that can beat a Negotiator, um, whether that's with relic levels, or whether that's with different pieces from other teams. The Rebels can do it. Empire can do it. First Order can do it. I've seen it happen, and now we've got another team that can do it. But what I think we really want as a community, and as a, at least for me, as a player that plays this game and tries to climb in fleet every day, is something that beats it consistently, right? And beats it with, I'm not saying no investment, because obviously that's kind of foolish, but I don't really want to take, Biston up to, crazy relic levels and stuff like that. So, and I don't blame other people for not wanting to do that either. So, I think a lot of people were looking for Razor Crest to be that avenue, and I hope that it is someday. But right now, I think I would classify this as, a very narrow window for you to prevent a to do a counter with. I would highly suggest you get familiar at least with this one and the other ones that are coming out. I'm sure there's plenty others, because you never know when you're in a pinch and you need to use, cleanup, or you need to use a squad that works, or a fleet that works against the Negotiator. So absolutely, learn it. But right now, I would not call this the most, wide open counter that we have. So Again, kind of talking through the testing and kind of where I see it in the future. With more relic levels, I could definitely see us beating the R7 negotiators. That's going to be a problem here soon because the Jedi Master Kenobi is requiring relic 8. So it'll be interesting to see how this all kind of shakes out. But through the testing that I did this and through the just reading the kit beforehand, theory crafting wise, I don't think that this is going to be, especially this lineup, is going to be anything with a malevolence. It's just not going to happen. We only did like 2 or 3 battles, I want to say, of malevolence, and each time we just got absolutely destroyed. There was just no way. But again, I'm sure people have found out a way to do it, and I hope they have. So that's kind of where I see it currently. I did not get to test anything with Empire or First Order Radis. I would be surprised if it didn't beat those. Now how much it struggles or how well it just absolutely destroys it, that's kind of the question that I don't know. So if you guys know, make sure you guys hit up the comment section down below. I want to hear what your guys's fleet was and what you guys' thoughts overall on the Razor Crest are as well. And yeah, we're gonna just cut this off, guys, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Hopefully it was a little bit insightful. Hopefully you're able to try out this fleet comp and the many other fleet comps that are going to come out. We're still very new in this Razor Crest experiment, I guess, if you will, and hopefully someone is able to find something that is able to beat the other negotiators without pulling so much away from other teams that you're kind of already relying on. So that's gonna cut it for this one, guys. Thanks for coming out, and we'll see you guys in the